How's it going? We are back with another episode of the Alt Show podcast with me, Chris. It has been a busy couple of weeks for releases. I just can't keep up. You had RTO and Raptors both drop new music. James and the Colgan Architects. Feels like only yesterday Sleep Token dropped new music as well. What am I missing? Let me know over on the socials what other music is out. I think I really need to start putting together a playlist or something just to keep up. But anyway, for this week's show, we are going back a couple of months as I have finally got Paradise Fell on the podcast. That's right, the same Paradise Fell you just heard as my intro music. One of the nicest guys around and someone who puts in so much work along with the rest of his team. Obviously, we are in the middle of a heatwave in the UK as well, so if you're watching on YouTube, apologies, but you will notice me getting redder and redder as the interview progresses. Paradise Fell's debut EP or mixtape, Songs for Your Head, dropped at the end of February, and it was so nice to finally see a solid body of work, complete with intros and interludes that just made it flow so nicely. It's honestly still up there as one of my top picks so far this year. There's not a skippable track on there, just full of huge bangers. Paradise Fell have been a big Alt Show favourite for a couple of years now, and it has been amazing to see the progress and finally getting to catch them live as well. And what a great show they put on. Well, let's get to it. Here's episode 8 of the Alt Show podcast. I'm joined by one of the nicest and tallest guys around. It's Matty from Paradise Fell.
Hey dudes, how you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
Yeah, not bad. Could be worse.
Taking a moment out of your sunny holidays.
Yeah, we're in Austria at the moment. I don't think
nice.
we don't really tend to do much tripping away when you're in this industry, do you? So we thought we'd check out Europe without service stations and tour traveling, etc., and just go and do a holiday thing. You know,
nice. Finally, a bit of time to relax.
Yeah, I think so. Try and switch off. I have obviously brought a load of music stuff, of course, because not very good at turning it off. But I've decided not to bring a microphone or anything. No guitar, no nothing. So
all you can do is mix beats you can't actually record.
Exactly. Yeah. All I can do is make really horrible stuff that I can't actually play guitar or do anything with. So it's just going to frustrate me when I've got a million ideas and can't put any of them down.
Sure. Well, I know we obviously had you on the radio show before, but this is podcast time now. So let's start over. Tell us a bit about Paradise Fell.
Awesome, man. Yeah. So Paradise Fell is my sort of alter ego project, I guess. It was started back in 23. Yeah. About sort of January, February time in 2023. I just moved to London and I just wanted to kind of needed a bit of an outlet for a lot of the sort of noisy stuff going on in my head a little bit and my sort of love for alternative-y, sort of more aggressive sounding music that I'd never really had an outlet to make before. So yeah, it's been great. We've had a couple of years of kind of growing and figuring out our stuff, met some beautiful people and built a beautiful team around us. And it's been a good couple of years.
Yeah, how's it been transitioning from being like solo project to full band?
I think it was always intended to be something that was quite flexible and fluid anyway. So it's not really been too much of a transition. It's kind of, we always knew we wanted to sort of brand it as something that wasn't entirely clear whether it was a group or a solo thing, because it's always been about more than that. It gives you the freedom
to change to do what you want, basically, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's the freedom that it comes with, but also I don't really know. I know it sounds really silly to say, but I don't really know if you could describe Paradise Fell as just like a 3-piece band or a solo project, because there's so much that goes into it, like so much of the kind of the noise from the community and the stuff that we do and Harry the guitarist puts into it and Janny who's managing the project puts into it. It's kind of a bit of a weird fluid thing, really. Yeah. So we never really knew when we started how we wanted to exactly to label it. We just knew that it wasn't a band and that it wasn't just a solo project. So we kind of saw if we could get away with this weird structure where nobody fucking knows what it is. So
even you're not sure.
Yeah, I have no idea. And we get this question all the time. We were on BBC Intro the other day, and he was saying like, "So is this a band or a solo thing?" And I had to sit there for about 2.5 minutes. Yeah, I should probably just said yes, but I just rambled for about 2.5 minutes and said absolutely nothing. Essentially, so. Yeah, we're
I
still
mean,
figuring it out.
it's good that, and it must be a bit easier that you've got such talented people around you as well. Like obviously, Janny's amazing at what she does. Like the band as well that you've got in, they're all crazy good musicians.
Yeah, it definitely, that was always, it's always something I've dreamt of, really, you know, when I was as a kid, sort of growing up and doing your kid garage bands and stuff. I never really had like a family of musicians and team around me that I could lean on to do the things that I could never do, sort of thing. So when we met Harry and we did the first session together, and we were already writing tunes from day one, basically, and when me and Janny met, we kind of just it just clicked like a house on fire. So I've always dreamed of having that sort of that team and that group of talented, amazing people and stuff that can amplify what you're doing, I guess,
Yeah.
and make you think in ways you haven't before, you know. So
Yeah, I
it's
think
been,
that's a
yeah,
key thing
amazing.
to it, isn't it? Just getting other people's inputs and other people's ideas. So it's not
Yeah,
just all on you.
it is the ideas and other people's inputs as well, but it's also like uh, sort of like people you can just rely on to kind of do things that you didn't even know you had to do, I
Mm.
guess, you know.
Yeah.
With Jordan as well, and the sort of the PR stuff that he's doing, and or the experience he's got with sort of running bands and stuff. It's been invaluable to just be able to lean on you know, friends
Yeah.
essentially that are part of the project and love it in a way that no one else can, sort of thing. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
it's
suppose
been
it's
really cool.
definitely good with Jordan as well. Like he has all that knowledge that a lot of bands wouldn't even like know where to start, sort of thing.
Yeah, but including
Yeah,
us. Like, you know, me and Janny, when we started this thing, we literally had no idea really as to what the industry involves, like what sort of things you're supposed to be putting out there. We just knew what kind of sounds we wanted to make a little bit,
mm.
and we always knew we wanted to build a team around it. You know, like a team that cared about it because we both worked on things in the past. Janny not in the music industry, but we'd worked on projects in the past where people weren't involved as heavily caring about the outcome, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
So that was always something that was really important to us, like having a family that actually benefited from the project doing really well and actually cared about it like it
yeah,
was their baby, you know. So it is like you said though, like it's also great because it means we have the live outlet, you know.
yeah,
Jordan and Harry being live band members essentially means that when we play live, it's not just all about me and oh, look at Matty doing this thing. It's awesome. We on this last tour being able to kind of lean on them to do their thing and have their moments. You know, I've always loved going and watching noisy, chaotic rock bands and stuff. So it's great to be able to, you know, just lean on them to do their thing every now and then
yeah.
as
I
well.
suppose you did have moments where you had like they do like a drum solo or a guitar solo, and it really shines a light on them.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's important. Like it's the instrumental bit that we were doing was kind of like I think we wanted it to be a show, like a whole
Mm.
overall show, rather than just going and listening. You know, we're aware we haven't got a lot of songs, so it was kind of like don't just turn up and listen to us play 8 songs or whatever,
Yeah,
and then go home. It was kind of like we're particularly me and Harry when we've been talking about it, we obsess over old footage of Muse and old, you know, old Foo Fighters footage and stuff where they kind of they take the show to another level rather than just here's another one of our hits and here's
yeah,
a
yeah.
song you haven't heard as much. It's kind of like it's a whole journey sort of thing. And I love even recently going to in London, going to shows and bands that take you on those sort of journeys. So,
It's
yeah.
definitely good having the there being like a whole thing rather than it, like you said, just playing the songs, because you can listen to the songs on Spotify or whatever. It's, you're coming to see the performance sort of thing.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And people have said that a lot live. We had a lot of fans at the tour kind of being like, it's amazing hearing the songs in like a live like scenario because I think we are a bit different live. It's kind of a bit sweaty and chaotic and it kind of gives the songs like a new life in
Yeah,
a way,
yeah.
which I do love because obviously there's a lot of tech and stuff nowadays in modern shows and that bands rely on and I think it's really important to try and bring that kind of live energy back in where you can.
Well, when we're talking about the sound, you've obviously got like this sort of the heavy electronic sort of vibe. What sort of bands are getting you to that point? I guess you mentioned Muse. I guess is that one of them?
100%, yeah. Harry's Muse's biggest fangirl
Oh, really?
since day one. So and you can hear it in his writing and in the riffs and stuff that he brings along. So Muse definitely heavily influences a lot of what we do, and just the creativity of it as well.
Mm.
I've I don't know, my interests are incredibly weird, and I'm not entirely sure whether or not they've influenced the music or whether they have. Maybe other people would tell me, but I've always been a massive fan of Busted and
Okay.
and Nickelback. It's bands that don't really sound like us now.
Hmm.
Um, but then
It might be
weirdly,
like structurally and stuff that you're not even realizing that you're doing with them.
yeah, I think so. I think so. And like obviously, when Bring Me came out with Ammo and stuff, that sent like a shock. Was it Ammo or was it the one before that? It might have been Sempiternal, to be fair. But when the albums are dropping, when bands are dropping albums as influential as that, like it's impossible not to take notice. That was
Yeah.
like shock waves through modern rock, and that band do it all the time. So that's always inspired a lot of. I think the more creative side. I don't think I've ever sat down and gone like, let's write a song like "Bring Me the Horizon" or produce like "Bring Me the Horizon." But I just love the fact that they just do what they want, and they
Yeah.
kind of um, they know that they can put their own art and their own voice out there, and people will resonate with it because it's how they're feeling at that point in time, and that's always inspired us. And I have also had a soft spot for Fight Star over the years, but I also had a bit of a bittersweet really because I was a massive Busted fan, and obviously when Charlie left to do his own thing, and I was a
Yeah.
kid. I was an absolute child at the time, so I just had no idea what he was doing, and I was like, "Come on, you've
God.
broken up my favorite band. What's this even all about?" But
I think we talked about this last time, didn't we? Because
probably,
I was in the same thought. I was just like, oh, like Charlie doing Fight Star. Like he's the guy from Busted. He can't do rock music, but now I fucking love Fight Star.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, literally.
thank you for leaving Busted.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. It was one of those things where at the time I was just enraged as a child,
Hmm.
like, why have you done this to my favorite band of all
Ripping the
time? But
posters off the wall.
yeah, exactly, exactly. But like, when I listen to it now, it's like I just think a lot of that has seeped into me, and the Nickelback stuff as well. I know people will take the piss out of that band, but like it just seeps into you so much. Like so many people listen to our stuff and they're like, "Oh my god, it sounds like Fight Star," and I'm like, "Is it?
All right.
Oh, all right, interesting." Yeah. Well, like the amount of people with comments we get online, and people are like, "Dude, you sound like Nickelback." And I'm like, "We really don't sound like Nickelback, but just because it's a singer with a gruffly voice, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden, that's it. That's you know." That's Nickelback all of a
Yeah.
sudden. So yeah, but yeah,
God. Yeah. Well, obviously it's been nice to see you getting out on the road a bit finally. You had your little tour with Lost Romantic, and then
yeah,
a little headline run as well.
yeah. Just short ones, just short little trips out, just testing the water and getting to play out in places that we wanted to see whether we could go and sort of bring an audience down. Really.
How did you find the tour in life? I think the Lost Romantic tour especially did good things for you because I know I went to the one in Bristol and there's lots of people there for Lost Romantic that were properly vibing with you guys.
I think that was the other way around. I think the Lost Romantic one we did was November last year, so that was the one
Hmm.
we went to. We didn't go to Bristol on that tour. We did
Oh, you did
Glasgow.
which
The,
one? The one at the
the,
lanes when I saw you.
oh shit, yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, I should probably do my research, shouldn't I? You need to speak to whoever's booking the tours.
Yeah.
I have no idea what's going on.
Uh,
Yeah, the Lost Romantic tour was really really sick because we'd only just become friends with them really, and
hmm.
Jason, the guitar player, was at a show we did. Yeah, it was August last year at Camden Assembly, and it was god awful. It was probably the worst show we've ever played. We had everything broke.
Oh,
Like the bless him, the sound guy was like couldn't get his head around our like setup because we usually have our own sound guy, and we turned up this venue with our gear, and we had like click track coming out of the speakers, cues coming out, none of the sounds coming out. But we tried to power through. But essentially, Jason was running that night. He played the guitar and played guitar for Lost Romantic. And he was like, "Oh, dudes, I've got to put you in touch with the Lost Romantic guys. Like, this is killer. Like I know you've had a nightmare tonight, but this is something really cool, and you should get in touch and speak to them." And then we saw they were putting on a tour, and we were like, this would be a lot of fun to do. So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was
So
it was sick. It was sick really because two different sounding bands, but audience was amazing.
yeah, it seemed like the audience was very sort of receptive to you guys, and like you could see people like bouncing around and really enjoying. I like half the time I wasn't sure if they were here to see you guys or to see Lost Romantic because everyone just seemed to be like invested.
100%. Yeah, we got a lot of love on that tour for kind of being the um a lot of people that kind of had a little listen but didn't know much about us. But there were a lot of people that kind of turned up and they were like, "Oh, this is like heavier stuff. Wow, this is interesting," sort of thing. You know, it's like almost like the gateway drug to a little bit of screaming every now and then,
Yeah.
and an octave riff every now and then. So we got a lot of love for that sort of thing. So it worked really well, I think, just because they'd done a killer job at sort of building an audience and stuff of people that just loved live music and the energy and that of it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Am I remembering correctly? There was an issue with one of the venues. Was it Southampton or something where they like
yeah, there
dropped you out or
was.
something?
Yeah, that was a whole load of drama. Yeah, that's
Frustrating.
a much bigger deal than I'm even allowed to let on about.
Oh,
But
really? Okay.
it was essentially yeah a wake up call to how brutal this industry can be. To be honest with you, and it was a little bit of a me and Janny having a bit of a oh okay so this sort of thing goes on in
Yeah.
this industry that we're falling in love with and falling in hate with at the same time. So yeah, bit of drama for sure.
God. Well, after that, obviously you had your nice headline run, so that makes up for it, which is obviously
Yeah.
amazing. Some mega fans at the Bristol show as well. I think it was someone that went to every show.
Yes. Yeah. Wendy came to every show on the tour. We put the tickets on sale, and then must have been within minutes or so. She kind of bought a ticket to every show and sent us a message
Ah,
saying, "I'll see you at," and then listed the dates.
amazing.
It's just amazing to see because you know we're still kind of finding our feet a little bit, but
Hmm.
seeing that people are that dedicated and it means that much to them to come to these shows, it's fucking awesome. Really, it just
Amazing,
blows
yeah.
my mind.
I was a little
Yeah.
concerned when you put me on the spot to sing, though.
Yeah, well, I thought you were going to come up, mate. I was ready to do it. I can't have somebody in the audience that's got a voice like that and not get you to come up and help me out. I was honestly so ill for that whole tour as well. So I was kind of thinking, well, actually, you know, Chris definitely knows the songs. He'll do it for me, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was. I think that was the last day of the tour, wasn't it? I remember
Mm.
you saying you were struggling.
Yeah, weirdly, it kind of cleared up a little bit. We had a whole load of drama with merch actually as well, where
Oh, really?
we ended up having to last minute print our own t-shirts. So all of the t-shirts we ordered them 2 days before, blanks and the print stuff, and had to print our own tees. And we were up till God knows what hours in the morning, like the couple nights before the London show, and all the stress of it. And we were meant to insure a van as well and rent this van, but it didn't work out for a million different reasons. And the whole stress of
Yes.
it basically just all came over me at once.
Yeah.
So I'd been trying to rest as much as possible. So got to the day before London and I just like could barely talk. My throat was like swollen to hell and I was like
Yeah.
sniffling nose and stuff. So the whole tour was a nightmare, but we got to Bristol at the end and weirdly I think I just like beaten my way through the
I
tour.
suppose you could relax a bit as well. Like you knew you didn't have any more after that.
Yeah, there was that a little bit as well, and we know how good Bristol crowds can be, obviously because of the tour before, and um, yeah, I'd actually been told by a vocal therapist that I work with, essentially. She was like, "You should not do this tour at all." I was like, "It's the morning of the London show.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm going to do the tour because I'm not going to cancel the first one on the day,
Yeah.
sort of thing." And she was like, "Well, good luck to you,
On to
but
you. Yeah.
you are a fool." But it
God.
was
Yeah.
yeah, great.
Yeah, I suppose like I said, I know I've had it before where you know there's a show coming up, so even if you get like a little like tickle or something, you're just like your mind just goes, oh shit, I gotta rest. I'm gonna be ill for this tour. Like,
Yeah,
stressful.
it is stressful, but I also think it's like sometimes we do it to ourselves. I mean, I definitely do
Mm,
it to myself a little bit because I'm so like we all are. We're so like stressed about how we come across and
yeah,
whatever,
and
and
you want everything to be perfect, and
yeah, exactly. We want it to be absolutely perfect, and we're all insecure about one thing or another. And my big thing is my voice, so I'm always on trying to be on top of it with that. But I think you put more strain on it than it needs
yeah.
to, and there was definitely a bit of that going on with the whole headline tour and stuff because everything was so perfect otherwise on that run. So you kind of put it on your shoulders, don't you? I
Yeah,
think
a little bit. Well, the headline run was obviously to support the whole reason you were here. You dropped your debut EP or mixtape, Songs for Your Head.
that was it. Yeah, the debut mixtape, Songs for Your Head, March. was it? Yeah, 28th of March. Oh, I
Jesus.
should, 28th of February.
Oh,
Sorry.
Christ. I knew it was a little while ago.
Yeah,
It's how
yeah,
long it's
yeah.
taken to get you on.
That's it,
But
man. Honestly, it's like trying to organize something with me is like, yeah. Whether if you're a friend, if you're a business colleague, if you're a client, there is no way that you can organize my stupid fucking head at any point, really, to be honest.
oh well, how's the response been to it? Obviously, in the last couple of months, I know I listened to it like the day it came out, and I think I messaged like you or Janny, just like, damn, that's fucking good. Like all of
Yeah,
it
man.
just went together like so well. Every track goes hard.
Yeah, man. It's been amazing. It's because we've been selling it for so long as well. So it was amazing to just see it out there and see people resonating with it. Like you said, it was meant to be a whole journey from start to finish. So when people were picking up on that and kind of going like, this is like a real experience, that was yeah, it was amazing to see for sure.
So what made you decide to release the mixtape in the end? Was it sort of like a because you'd already done lots of singles, didn't you? Was it just
Yeah,
finally wanting to get like a body of music?
I think so. Testing ourselves a little bit, challenging ourselves. Like everyone knows at the moment that the way to do it. Oh, apologies, computers making noises and everything. Sorry, man. Let me turn that off. Um, everyone knows that like we will get told to put out singles and single after single and build your audience and stuff, but it gets a bit soulless sometimes. I think you know
Yeah.
we're made to make art, aren't we? And it's what we love doing. And I think we wanted to challenge ourselves. I've literally never in my whole life put out like a collection of songs
Oh, really?
that's like a body of work. So it was for me, it was about kind of yeah, testing and challenging myself in that sense, and also kind of um, finally putting something out there which felt like a whole statement of what we wanted to say, start to finish. You know, the songs for your head message and everything. It was really about trying to say something a bit more than just here's one song. You know.
Yeah, yeah. So you obviously released a few of the singles first, but what about the ones that didn't make the cut? Was there like a plan with what you wanted to go into there, or what was there going to have to be some tough decisions?
There really wasn't any tough decisions because my one rule was a lot of the team were kind of saying like, you know, put out a mixtape and a kind of collection of tracks because it's about the right time as well to kind of test it and test the waters. But I kind of still wanted to do the whole single by single because I
Mm.
don't think we're quite big enough yet to really be dropping whole bodies of work and having the audience for it really and having the size to do something of
Yeah,
that sort of
I
scale
think
and
it's
pull it off.
yeah, I think you can still do like you did as sort of a balancing act that you release like a couple of the singles or a majority of the singles. Like I've seen
Yeah,
so many bands that I think Girls EP they had one song that wasn't released as a single on their last EP, and bands have
yeah.
done albums where they've released 10 of the songs out of 12 or something.
Throughout the whole thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's so flexible that you may as well take advantage of that because the the songs nowadays aren't really they're not like it's not your credit as a band. You know, you're building this whole like world around what you're doing and kind of taking fans on a journey that like really dropping song by song or dropping them as an album. It doesn't really matter that much unless you're trying to build something around each statement and each song that you're putting out there. So
mm.
for us, it was kind of a no brainer to be like drop each song individually. We didn't have to decide to leave someone there. The only thing we dropped with Beautiful Life on release day was the two instrumentals because obviously we're not going to drop them as
Yeah,
released
yeah.
singles. And we kind of just wanted to put the whole statement out on the final day. But we were like, let's drop them as singles still, but put them into collection because they were kind of written with that sort of narrative, the songs for your head, um, sort of messaging in mind. So it was kind of like we wanted the whole statement to run true through it.
Nice. And you've obviously had a couple of music videos in there as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Beautiful Life was really cool. What was the idea behind the Beautiful Life one?
The Beautiful Life video was one of the most interesting ones for us, really, because we wanted to kind of like tell a bit of a story with that one. I guess highlighting the point of the song, really, this whole idea of everything's perfect online, and there's this whole everyone's got their perfect online world that they share, and then it's never ringing true to what's actually going on in their real life, is it? So, and all we get to see is everyone's perfect world online. So you start to feel insecure about your own and what you're doing, and hold on, my life isn't as perfect as what he's just put on Instagram. So what's going on there, sort of thing. So Beautiful Life was always about that sort of struggle in that sense.
Yeah.
Um, and we kind of wanted to build this world for the video where there's like you can visually see the representation of this guy kind of losing the plot a little bit in terms of trying to piece together physically himself into other people's beautiful lives. And you always feel like you're on the outside looking in on how good everything else is, that no one's taking a moment to just kind of to look around and take stock of your own thing. And this whole idea of him kind of cutting himself out and cutting people out of photos and piecing himself into other people's lives and photos and newspaper clippings was something we wanted to kind of explore. This kind of thing that you've gone so mad with the image that you literally have to put yourself into someone else's photos and stuff to make it ring true. So yeah, it was fun, a lot of fun with that. And we worked with Ben Stapleton as well, who's always been someone that we've wanted to work with, and he's put some cool shit out there. So we kind of wanted to get collaborative on it and kind of make some cool stuff.
Did he have some of the input on there, or was it sort of more your idea?
Yeah, for sure. I think whenever we create, we used to do it with Finko Town for a lot of the early stuff as well, and we have all of our own ideas that we want to run with. But if we turn up and Josh or Ben has an idea, it's very much like spit it out and let's bounce some ideas around. It's the same way that we make music, really. If it's not a collaboration, I don't really see the point, really. So I've got these strong ideas that I want to put out there visually, and they have ideas they want to explore as well. And there's probably a beautiful, perfect middle ground where it's exploded into one amazing video,
Yeah, and I suppose they as well will have sort of a more of an idea of what will work in some way. So like there might be something you're thinking, oh, this will be really cool, but they know how to sort of twist that to make it look good and make it fit the narrative and everything.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Although, to be honest, I feel like we're on a bit of a warpath to constantly make videographers' lives a nightmare, because every time we go into a video, we just have the stupidest ideas to try and pull off. And the amount of times we've had to be told no is quite limited, because usually the beautiful people that we get to work with are trying their best to make whatever stupid idea I've had come to life, really.
Yeah. Well, obviously you had a huge TikTok campaign as well. That's kind of been with a lot of your stuff. There's almost like mini music videos going on with like you just singing in a skate park and like the video bouncing around. They seem to do really well for you.
Yeah, I think so. I think for us it was always about trying to use the socials to still make art with it a little bit. Like, it always gets me down. I'm sure it gets every artist down, like having to post a video of you sort of singing in the mirror or doing a selfie video singing along to your song, sort of thing. But I know the power of that app. It is essentially the reason we sold out the Bristol show and packed out London and stuff, was because this app is bringing through new discoveries for people all the time. So there's hundreds of people there finding your music for the first time, which you wouldn't anyway. So we've always kind of struggled and battled with trying to do our art and trying to make cool visual content that we love. And that kind of flip side, which is that the app loves you to just go on your phone and film a sing song in the garden or in front of the mirror, sort of thing. So we've had to balance it, and I've had to be bullied a lot of times by Janny mainly to be like, film a TikTok video now, put it out there. So yeah, we've had to battle with that.
To be honest, I think that's every band, but pretty much every band is like, I hate making TikToks, but you need to, like, if you want to get anywhere.
You want to try and fall in love with it a little bit, which it's such a journey and such a struggle. But you look at some of these artists that are doing amazing on the platform, and I think they found a way to really enjoy it and put their own like thing out there that kind of makes them feel like they're creating their art. I think.
So if you've got the time, if you've got the time and the passion, then it's great, sort of thing. But it's like for me, like obviously I work full time and trying to get, especially when I'm not singing, so I have to get other people to do things that I want. It's just like, fighting a losing battle half the time.
Yeah, 100%. But there's so many different creative ways to do it, like the way that South Arcade have done it with the basically the rehearsal video things.
Yeah,
and,
they seem to do well. I think RTO did the same thing.
Yeah, and they kind of have used the method of, well, we've got to rehearse anyway, so let's set up the cameras and start telling stories from the rehearsal room, sort of thing. There's ways that you can make it your own, I think, and that's what we're trying to get to the bottom of a little bit. We still haven't quite figured it out for socials, but like just trying to put our own voice out there in a way, because everyone's doing the same thing. It's difficult to sort of break the mold, and I think it's about kind of finding what worked for you.
I see. I see. Obviously, you recorded a load in the skate park. Was that sort of a? Did you just go there one day and film like enough content to keep you going for months, or do you have to
I
keep turning it up
wish.
there?
I wish. We've been a couple of times, I have to
Fair
admit.
enough.
But it is literally around the corner from where I live, so it's kind of
Ah,
we get so many comments as well that are like, "Oh, dude, I love the bowl, man. That's such a cool place." And I'm like, he's like, "Do you skate there?" And I'm like, honestly, I tried skating when I was younger, and I have the balance of somebody with one leg, I think, because honestly, I'm not in that world at all.
no.
So there's a bit of appropriation of the skate scene going on sometimes by using that awesome space, but. I think we have to go quite regularly because you wouldn't believe how quickly you eat through this content and
Yeah.
stuff. It's so throwaway sometimes. So you got to kind of balance the time out with it.
Like I know a lot of people would just rehash them, but that's soon enough that will just become obvious that it's being repetitive, isn't it? So
Yeah.
it needs to be sort of new ones and things like that. But yeah, you let's say all of the ones that I see from you guys, I'm just like every time I'm like, oh damn, I wish we could do something like that. Like it would make my
Do
life
it,
much
man.
easier.
Do it. Go bully a singer and take him out there. Or
Yeah,
you can do it. Like no one needs to know that you're not the singer.
it's
You know,
true.
if you
It's
you
true.
can be the beautiful face of the band, man. You could be like, get out there and then when they turn up live, they'll be like, this isn't Chris. What's going
Yeah, what
on
the fuck's going
here?
on?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh god. Okay, so I got some quick fun questions for you now. All right. So you've
Okay.
been out on the road a couple of times now. So first off, give me your best tour story.
Best tour story. I got asked this the other day, and I still don't think I had one. Um, Dude, we've only been on two tours,
Yeah.
to be fair.
Nothing fun happened.
We're just so boring, you know. We're just such a all these guys are so boring that we spend time with. I don't know. I mean, the only real thing is the first time we went up to Glasgow. I mean, we've been up to Glasgow twice for single shows as well, which in itself is a
That's
bit of a silly
wild.
story.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's meant to be a 9 hour journey, but I guess the first time we did it was a bit of a story in itself because it became an absolute odyssey. We had to drive up. We didn't have a van, so we had to drive up in the car, and we were supporting Los Romantics, obviously, and the aircon wasn't working properly. It was too hot, too cold. It was freezing in the depths of November, and we had to travel from North London, where I live, to get Jordan, and then we had to go to Essex to get Harry, and then drive all the way back up to the A1 and up
Yeah.
to Glasgow. There were roadworks, I think, twice on the journey. So what ended up
Oh,
already needed
Jesus.
to be a 9 hour journey. And there was no room in this thing. We were so cramped. Aircon wasn't working. Toes were freezing, but like bodies were boiling because there's like the doors weren't closing properly. So you had like cold air coming through in November. So we ended up stopping like 4 or 5 times and taking literally a whole day to get up to
Fuck
Glasgow. It
Christ.
was about 13 hours or 12 hours or something obscene like that. That it took us to get up there. When we arrived, we were like, "Damn, we've got a 30-minute set to pack in, and we're done and
Oh
back
my
down."
God.
So we've done that twice, but we just love that city so much that we've gone up
Yeah.
there twice to play half an hour sets and taken 12 hours to get up there. So it's
Oh,
kind of obscene.
at least they're good shows.
Yeah, I think other than that, there's the only real stories we've really got are from having to share hotel rooms that we weren't meant to be in and stuff. So we've tried to crash on mates' sofas every time we can, but in
Yeah.
Bristol the first time we didn't really have anywhere to crash, so we obviously booked a 2 person or 1 person hotel room, whatever it
Oh
was
yeah.
you could get away
And
with.
just crammed everyone in.
Just crammed everyone in, but you're rolling through the entrance whilst the people at the desk are watching you, and you're bringing in duvets and air beds and pillows and whatever, and going back and forth. And there's about 5 of us coming in with the same coat on to make it look like it's the same person. And this person on the desk must be obviously knows exactly what's going on, but
Yeah.
we think we're some sort of some special agents coming in and out with about 8 million bags and half a drum kit and a couple of
Yeah.
guitars, and them thinking they're not getting on
Fake
with it.
mustaches.
Yeah, exactly,
That's what you need.
exactly. Yeah, exactly that. So
Oh.
we ended up doing that on the first Bristol trip, and that was quite an experience for sure.
Oh, okay. What was the first song you released as a band?
First time we released as a band was Vices in 2023. So that was the first one we put out.
Next one is what is your highest streamed song on Spotify?
I have no idea. It's probably either. I'm really bad at looking at it. I hate looking at the stats. I hate looking at the numbers. I hate looking at all of it.
That's
Um,
what. That's why this question is here for people like you.
yeah, exactly. I should be looking at this way more. It's either honest or I think suffocate probably now, or actually maybe still vices because vices was killer at the start. I think they're all close. Suffocate or
Yeah.
vices, maybe honest. I don't
It's
know.
Vices is the top streamed.
Vice. Oh, you know
Uh,
the answer. All right,
yeah, oh
shit.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. No, I know the answer. I've written it down. Suffocate was a very close second. I think there's only a couple of hundred in it.
Oh,
And
damn.
yeah, I
See,
think
that's the tough one. Tough
yeah,
one.
I don't know what I can't remember what honest was. It wasn't too far behind, but
Yeah, there you go.
yeah,
Almost got it right. See,
yeah,
intuition.
exactly. What are your top five Spotify locations by city?
Ooh, geez. By city. The thing is, you always get some American cities in there randomly, but I
Yeah,
don't think ours is at the moment. I think ours is. I'm going to say London is
yeah,
definitely
that's number
one.
one.
Second, it's got to be one of the big cities because there's loads of people, right? So let's say Manchester.
Birmingham is three and Manchester is four. So you
Okay,
got three of them, and the other two are in
Glasgow.
America. The
Oh,
other
they're in
two are in
America.
America.
Yeah, it's wild. We get so many DMs from people in the States and stuff, and I'd love to go over there someday, but I don't really know. That's the joys of Spotify. You end up in some random city, you
Yeah,
don't know. I'd say surely he's got to be one of the big ones like LA or
yeah.
something. LA
LA's number two.
and New York.
Yeah, bingo.
Oh,
There you
nice.
go.
Sweet.
Five out of five.
Two apologies if anyone's watching from New York or LA. I obviously value you very highly. It's just that I don't I hate looking at Spotify.
All right. Can you give me three underground bands that people have to check out?
Okay, Girl is one of
Girl.
them. Love those people. Girl with a U, not with an I. I would say Lost Romantic as well because they are a beautiful set of people. And I'd say our good friend Queen Leia, who
Yeah.
is also an alt rock queen. Check her out as well because she's killer voice.
Yeah. Right. So obviously, I always like to finish this section with a bit of a bit of an obscure niche question, something like that, something to keep you on your toes. But this week, I've enlisted the help of one Janny Rose, your lovely manager,
Oh no, this is going to be a
and
hard
she has
question.
sold you out.
Of course she
She's
has.
given me two things to ask. So first
Mhm.
up, tell us the story of Bosch.
No, my God. I shouldn't be who you're asking on this one. You need to speak to Jacob, the sound guy, man. This is a Harry and Jacob thing. But the story of Bosch is an evolutionary story, really. The first tour, excitability was to blame for this. Bosch is an internet meme by the one and only Big John. If you don't know Big John, get to know Big John. And essentially, his catchphrase, he'll always talk about this takeaway order he's going to get of some kind, and then he'll round off his massive order because he eats like nobody's business. This huge takeaway, and they'll round off his order, everything he's ordered, and at the end he'll just go "bosh" with like a big, thick British accent. And I think he's East London accent as well, like proper West Ham geezer. And so essentially, we're touring on the day one to Glasgow at this point, losing our absolute tinnies at this point. We're actually our minds are somewhere back in Grantham or something. And and in the front seat, Jacob and Harry just next song comes on, banger. So it's like, oh, Bosh, fist in the air, Bosh every time. To the point that the rest of us in the car are getting sick to death of it. But it's so addictive to say that they kept just doing it anytime something good happened, or take away in a man, oh Bosh, gonna get Costa Bosh, Monster Bosh, I need a piss Bosh. Everything came with a Bosh after it, and it got to the point that you couldn't hate it anymore, and it just slowly infiltrated all of us. And we were actually planning on this last tour of getting a picture of a picture of Big John and the
Yeah,
slogan Bosch and putting it on the bass drum, and
amazing.
not telling Janny because obviously she's also been excited to this tour that she's and it's been slaving away over for months. And
Yeah.
we were just hoping at turning up to London with this big picture of Big John and a Bosch. And then we also plan to take it one further and even have the intro to the music, not do the intro to the mixtape, this beautiful track that we've composed. Instead, just have him just going Bosch and then a big riff coming in. But in the end, we got neither of those two things done and just got some green tape and just put the word Bosch on it.
Nice.
Instead.
I do remember seeing that actually.
Yeah. Don't ask. I have no idea. Like at what crazy point I decided it was the idea.
So the final one then is what is your hair care routine?
Oh, that's even longer an answer. Honestly, I'm going to sell her out. She keeps telling me I need to be more concise with these answers, okay? And that in interviews I do too much rambling. Yet she wants me to tell the hair care routine. Firstly, artists should never be telling their most valuable secrets on podcasts or interviews of any kind. And secondly, we don't have long enough, Chris. This podcast is not going to be 4 hours long. Essentially, all it is getting never touch your hairbrush, get a load of gel in there, and just mess it about, tuck it behind the ears, and occasionally maybe get somebody to dye your hair for you if it's going the wrong color. Essentially. That's all I'm giving you for today.
That's the short version. All right.
That's the very short version.
So what else have you guys got lined up? Any more music on the horizon? Or any tours?
A lot of making new music at the moment, actually. So we're kind of in between, obviously, the last mixtape and putting this new era together, really. So at the moment, there's a lot of in the studio working with some really cool people. We're doing a lot of collaborating, a lot more collaboration than we've ever done before. So making the most out of being creative on these new records. And there are plans being cooked up for the rest of the year. I think I'd get murdered if I tell you any of them because I always get told off for speaking about them too soon as well. That's another thing that Johnny tells me off for. So there's a few things cooking up. I think definitely things to keep an eye on when it gets to the summer months for sure for Paradise Fell.
Amazing. We'll keep an eye on it. So, well, before we go, where can people find you on like the socials and all of that?
So the mixtape Songs for Your Head is out on all streaming platforms, Spotify, YouTube, etc. We are paradise.fell on Instagram, I think. And paradisefell.co.uk for the website, wherever you fancy, wherever you get your dosage. And you'll find all the streaming stuff there. I'm on Matty, matt.x or something, matt.yx or something. And yeah, all the usual places.
Well, it has obviously been lovely as always to chat to you, buddy. I'm sure I'll see you at some point soon.
Great to catch up. Great to see you putting stuff back out there. We always love the Alt Show. Big fan of your stuff. So
and thanks for the intro music. We forgot to mention that.
Oh yeah, you got Suffocate.
Yes.
Damn yeah. Go and boost those streams. If you listen to the Alt Show or you get your new podcasts, then make sure you get your daily dose of Suffocate from the intro music.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Good talking.
Cheers, man. Cheers. Catch you later.
Speak to you later.
That was episode 8 of the Alt Show podcast. Big thanks to Matty from Paradise Fell for taking time out of his holiday. And as always, thanks for the intro music. Being able to promote that band every week is such an honour. Love them. Make sure you like and subscribe wherever you're listening or watching. And don't forget to follow me over on the socials. It is at Alt Show Pod, just about everywhere. You've been listening to the Alt Show podcast with me, Chris, and I'll catch you next time.